Hey guys, Brianne here again. This time I'm going to fill you in on what Chapter 10 was when a mind falls behind. At any point, a child or adult mind can derail from their academic track. Most kids simply lack the ability to handle repeat frustration and failure, so they act out surrender or get anxious or depressed. The first step to intervention is constructing neurodevelopmental profiles. In order to do this, we need to use multiple sources of information, search for highly specific strengths and weaknesses, search for recurring patterns, and integrate results of parent feedback, background information, reports by teachers, analysis of schoolwork, possible IQ testing, and discussions with the student. There are 6 points of learning breakdown. These can be overlapping areas of weakness. The first, trouble mastering skills. Skill development takes place in 3 layers: skill layer, subskill layer, and neurodevelopmental functional layer. Learning requires groups of specific subskills. For example, reading has decoding, which is figuring out individual words, and comprehension, understanding the big picture of a story. Neurodevelopmental functions are stronger when students practice these subskills. Kids who struggle usually practice as little as possible, so the gap widens from their peers who do. For this reason, it's important to identify which subskills are a challenge, and that way we can overcome them. The second learning breakdown is trouble acquiring facts or knowledge. Students struggle to get the background knowledge to make sense of an academic area. This leads to disenchantment or anguish, and it could be a memory issue. We need to find out what the obstacle is so we can overcome it. The third learning breakdown is trouble accomplishing output. This student might seem lazy, but they have trouble completing work. Could be because of any number of neurodevelopmental dysfunctions. The fourth learning breakdown is a trouble understanding. This student might not understand the question, or understand the question and have lots of ideas, but has trouble articulating them. The fifth learning breakdown is trouble approaching tasks systematically. They may have weak attention control, think they are trying and are surprised when they're told they're not. They may be daydreamers or unfocused and do not check over their work. Students just do something, they do not have a tactical approach. The sixth is trouble with the rate and amount of demands. Some minds function at a slower pace. Perhaps they will be more accurate, intense, in-depth thinking, and have a high commitment to quality. Some students work harder, and some give up. Help students develop coping strategies, such as consistent review of material. As a teacher, don't give busy work and try to adjust the rate of information or volume of work. Bad things can happen to good profiles. There can be a mismatch between teaching style and a child's neurodevelopmental profile. This can lead to chaos, anger, or withdrawal. For example, if a student has a particular brand of a sense of humor, some teachers might laugh and love it, while others might send them to the principal's office. No one is at fault, and both sides need to work at the relationship. People conflicts happen all the time in the working world, and you need to get through it. When we are trying to understand the breakdown of learning, we must not forget to find a child's strengths, such as musical ability, humor, or kindness. All children harbor gifts, and we must not neglect them. Identifying and understanding emotional complications. Oftentimes, there is a two-way street when it comes to learning problems and emotional problems. For example, if a child is chronically anxious and withdrawn, they will likely not practice expressing themselves, which can get in the way of language development. Success nourishes motivation, and motivation makes success more likely. It's hard to get up and try something if you're pretty sure you will fail. Don't compare siblings or peers. Be encouraging. Some students feel like, why try if the teacher always finds faults? All kids enter the world prepared to be motivated, so we need to ask ourselves, where was this motivation depleted? You can also help your students make attainable goals. Feelings and moods can interfere. Performance anxiety causes students to be anxious and hinder learning. Some students don't have any tension or positive anxiety and are too laid back. Some students are medicated to help, or others can be supported by parents and teachers through it. Self-esteem that dwindles. Sometime in middle school, students decide whether they are smart or not. These self-perceptions can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. If students are struggling in one area, they may think they struggle everywhere and forget about their talents. If a student has low intellectual self-esteem, they may feel trapped by the school system that is embarrassing or frustrating them. We must foster positive intellectual self-esteem and respect each particular kind of mind and its potential. Some behaviors can thwart learning. Some dysfunctions inhibit learning as well as self-control. Some kids act out to save face. It's better to be the bad boy or girl than a dummy. Lastly, a few words of caution. Focus on how instead of why. Always stress how a kid is instead of why they are like that. And testing can be a great tool, but understand its dangers, biases, and the impacts of labeling. That's it for me, guys. Hope you guys have a great weekend.